Yeah, that was fun. Welcome. We're back. I had a Kit Kat, like 3 Kit Kats, and then drank my water, and here we are. I could listen. I was saying also I could listen to that London theme song for hours. Just regular old milk chocolate. Kit Kat. No fun flavors, but you know sometimes the original is what you need. So let's just get back into it. We got to do a trial. Let's see what's going to happen here. I'm sure it's going to be crazy, and I'm going to like cry because I almost cried actually when we were talking to Olive. Dick Dack. Yeah, I know. Wow, zoom in more, why don't you? This is it then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, it's time to put an end to this now. To the miserable curse that has been plaguing Mr. Natsume. To everything. And in my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. I always appreciate your help, Mr. Zato. Suffering Soseki selfishly sidelined. Ah. Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. Good morning, Locum. Good morning, Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Listen to you two, chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here. Why would you do that? Why? Oh dear, we didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly you were meditating, finding inner calm. It seemed wrong to disturb you. I was waiting. What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Why, naturally. That's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own depth. Or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. Oh, they even rendered the inside of his mouth. You see that? Oh, well. I missed the signs, I'm afraid, somehow. You'll have to forgive me. And you mustn't talk of your path leading you to death, Mr. Natsume. That was just an example. Oh yes, there it is. Inner calm. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. I was sure you'd abandoned me and returned to our beautiful long-lost homeland. We've not even been in Great Britain a week yet. Yes, well, anyway. What the hell? Oh, okay. Sorry, there's a mouse over thing on the Streamlabs on the Twitch dashboard. I was like, what the hell is that? I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh, what sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Alright. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. Very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits. A very clear message, I think, that he's overslept again. The great detective, my arch nemesis, long may he stay away, if you ask me. Defendant and your legal representative, trial is about to begin, make your way into the courtroom immediately. Oh boy, here goes my voice, because I have to voice the judge. Today, once again, we face the Reaper, and when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Soseki-san's curse. Truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. "9:40 a.m. Hey, Paper Star, how you doing?
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels for the defense and the prosecution to declare their willingness to proceed.
I did see William Shakespeare's habit of making out with the painting.
The prosecution is ready.
Yes, the defense is ready.
Very good, and now I shall call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury chosen by lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed? Absolutely. Justice will be done, you mark my words.
I feel obliged to say, I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat is sitting just right. First it's when your hat isn't sitting just right, and now it's when your hat is sitting just right. Are you just ruthless? That's fine. You don't have to have Ruth. But like, at least admit that you're just always ruthless. Oh, well, I wonder if you could adjust my hat for me, and please be as ruthless as you like. Oh man, look at you. Thieves deserve to die if you ask me, especially gas thieves. I have no sympathy for the man at all. Look, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I've got my own problems. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light again today here, and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today.
Now, Lord Van Zix, what can you tell us? Prosecution's report, please, for the court, in relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's tea.
So he does have the results. Before the prosecution delivers the black news that the black tea belonged to the blackguard in the dock, pray allow me a moment to savor a liquid of more sanguine hue. In fact, I'll defer to the good detective for the report. Here's to you, Inspector. Seems to be in a weird mood today. I don't know. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar, so just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid in a little depression on the top of it. Yes, that's the tea. Yes, that's the tea. I need a screenshot where the rest of this is missing, and it just says, yes, that's the tea. Can someone do that for me sometime? Well, the brains of the yard analyzed it, and yes, you're right, it was tea. And there was no trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it. No poison at all. In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear.
What a revelation!
As I suspected. Makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr.
Objection!
My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Nipponese reaction. What? Yes, it's true that no poison was found in a few drops of liquid resulting from a soap on the window ledge. What? What logic is that? Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean isn't salty?
But water in the ocean is extremely salty, Counsel.
Well, one already for this trial.
Exactly.
Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise word from the lips of Mr. William Shamspeare, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. He's keeping the cape on today, I see. I like it. He looks hot in that.
Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's request.
Mr. Shamspeare. Yes, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend.
Smack his nuts.
Mr. William Shamspeare, the victim of this despicable crime. Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a bellyful of the foul fluid given in mine innocence.
Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe.
By using bars of soap such as this, he has been stealing gas from the supply company, yes. One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a roomful of the sweet fuel given. That's right, fellow jurors, don't forget this man is a rotten thief.
I haven't forgotten.
Kept all that about the ice coins as tidy secret, didn't you?
Should have owned up sooner.
Arrest him, I say! Arrest him at once and let him feel the sting in my tail! Oh, indeed. Oh, indeed. By dint of vile and cowling until I've plotted to further mine own ends, I confess. Thou wouldst not pardon my sins, of that I am sure. If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here? Cowards die many times before their deaths, and for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. What? Would it still that a greater crime passeth unpunished? Oh no, the hairy-faced gentleman of Farther East that the Verona did contrive to poison me. I cannot handle this tea. But there was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. What the defense would assert as an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shamspeare?
Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak. Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court why it is that the poison apparently entered your body, though none was found in the tea.
Alright. Put that stupid smile away. I don't want to see it anymore.
The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. It wasn't my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Whilst feigning instruction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips.
Oh, come on now.
When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Thus 'tis no surprise that a poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the mold.
So I'm not even going to deal with this right now. Poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience.
Quite, otherwise it would be disastrous if the poison were to mix up the cups, for instance.
But no poison bottle was found at the scene.
It's quite simply the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide.
I knew that. By now it should be perfectly clear.
A bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused's hands.
Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I, Shamspeare, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause, I have nothing to lose. Well, I do declare.
Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with the course.
Yes, my lord. Oh, don't even get me started on this. It's already been proved. We've already figured it out that you didn't drink the tea, but Soseki drank it right away. Drink tea while it's hot. Come on now. Don't play with me like this.
Objection!
You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question. But that's impossible. How? Chop logic? What is this, you darky clad fiend? 2 teacups from the scene. I know, Paper Star. 2 teacups from the scene, one used by the victim and the other by the defendant. There's a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof.
Controvertible? What difference?
Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's a clearly visible ring.
Yes, a tea ring. Commonplace enough. Indeed, such stains occur all too readily when one leaves tea in the cup for a while.
And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring.
Good lord, you're right. It's completely clean.
And prithee, sir, what makest thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted, "Drink
tea while it's hot."
That's right, yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night and drank his tea in no time. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well, after the several hours that he was left standing. But, in short, Mr. Shamspeare, you clearly lied to the court. Yet, he to a nunnery!
Objection!
You're gonna say there's no wine ring in your glass? I want to hear it. As a rule, I fill my hallowed chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. Oh man, he's got the Godot thing. Never drink more than 17 cups of coffee in a trial. You are part Godot, look at that. What is this, your second glass? You might want to keep that information to yourself. 3. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me and I pour more times than I intend until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating, but Irrelevant. Hey, I'll drink with you, buddy. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shakespeare. Yes, my liege? Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from leftover tea in the accused cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Eh? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now.
Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. Oh, verily, it is as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night. What? Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, it was empty. Unless I did use the dregs that festered in the teapot, as my liege did suggest.
Objection!
And you've just suddenly remembered now that you made a mistake before? Are we supposed to believe that?
Objection!
People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend, which is why we rely on evidence instead. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us two things of note. Yeah, but like, if he can't be the killer, Blue, he's the victim. Two things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that the spoiled cup was not the source of these insipid ice coins that had bewitched the court. Speculation, that's his oh my god. He could be the attempted killer of himself, but yeah, where's the bottle?
Prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts.
Furthermore, their testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words, the inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No. What does this mean then?
What does this mean?
I do declare it means there's no issue with the gas thief's testimony.
Apart from the bit about thief and gas, obviously.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear that I am up to no good. After I did dine at Grubb's Grubbery alehouse that night, naught did pass my lips but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back beast stooped to lowest death.
And on what did you dine, sir? Sir?
Why, I did partake in my favourites, a broth as wouldst be called soup, and a leaf as wouldst be called salad.
Oh my god. Soup. Take us. Would you like a soup or a salad? I don't want a super salad. I want the regular one. As insalubrious a menu as the establishment where it was served.
But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. Willingly would I suffer what punishment 'tis seen fit to serve a wicked thief or gas. But I pray ye, wise and fellow nobles, never forget the simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. Hey there, fellas, it's me, William Shakespeare. Jurors, all your humble and servant Shakespeare doth entreat you, punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. My lord!
Oh, my lord! If I may speak, my lord. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer.
By me?
What? I do declare you may be right.
We all know that the way of making coins of ice to keep himself warm.
This lawyer lad says if he's stealing gas, he deserves it. It's a poisoning. He's been leading us up the garden path. That's what he's been doing.
I really never said anything like that.
But what we just heard from the victim has opened our eyes again. We've reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. The court acknowledges the position of the jury foreman, and will duly hear the jury's findings.
What? No, it's been like 5 minutes, okay?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
But you'll be swayed by them.
Guilty.
By
Guilty!
just William Shakespeare over here.
Guilty!
Are you kidding me? I point out a contradiction and then all of a sudden he's guilty? He didn't do anything wrong.
Jury to be in one accord.
Oh, happy day!
Ooh, shake that. Look at him shaking that little thing, like side to side. What those hips do? They lie, clearly. You ain't no Shakira, bitch. How is this happening? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination.
Very well, the court upholds the defense's right.
Typical. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth. Every time I have done a summation examination, Lord Van Zeeks, I have managed to convince the jury otherwise, so I don't want to hear it. You can take that hallowed chalice and something else of mine and stick it.
This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. As the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime for which he's charged.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, like every time.
I'm a man of logic, me, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty.
I do agree that gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid pain. The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is.
Yeah, like that one witness who ripped a massive fart in the omnibus in the last game.
Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes.
Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times.
There's nothing else past the victim's lips that night. There's no other explanation, is there?
Since when do you have something useful to say? Hold on. You can't suddenly make sense. You can't suddenly understand what's going on.
I do feel that perhaps personal opinion about gas and its supply has influenced decisions somewhat. But never mind.
No, you really should mind. Truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we'd hoped. Mr. Shamspeare was poisoned, there can be no doubt of that. And how are we supposed to turn this around? I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamspeare was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court incontrovertibly, but that surely is almost impossible at this stage. If we don't manage it, though, Mr. Natsume will be found guilty.
Guilty.
Yeah. Proceed with the summation examination, your ass. Bendo, I'll examine your ass real good. With this fucking katana.
Hold it!
All the evidence, you say?
That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at that Japanese man with this big mustache. There's the Englishman with the bigger mustache.
Yes, we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. We have that kind of evidence. Don't worry, the summation examination has barely started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light.
Hold it!
This isn't the time or place to be discussing the price of gas, madam. But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas and air is free. Why should Altamont gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever. This isn't the time or place to be ruthless either. I mean, if I might interject here... Ah, yes, madam? It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas. What? No, Mr. Natsume is the one who's been stealing gas. What the hell? I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's as made up as the price of gas.
Well, that's not it.
Oh dear. Could we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think so? Well, if you like. I mean, to be honest, I'll take poison over gas anytime. You take poison? What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it?
Goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man.
Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find that poison also can't light or heat up a room. Ah! You're right. I hadn't considered that at all. Young lawyer man. Yes. You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you as our company's legal representative. Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of the trial, that's for sure. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past.
Hold it!
How is this happening? Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here, in case you haven't noticed, against my company's gas. I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I?
I don't think so.
He's really buzzing now.
All I've heard about are wonderful fuel explosions and poisonings. What about electricity? What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison.
Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable.
My point exactly. The gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. They're far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know. More devious? Who, madam? Other gas companies, of course.
Other gas companies?
We generate gas and we deliver it to our customers fair and square.
Indeed, no one is questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company.
There are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that.
They steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible?
Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people selling via a network of pipes, but these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own bottom pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes, and take the money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally. What a brazen form of theft. When we visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check. Oh dear.
Excuse me.
Yeah, what's up? You have something to say about that jar number 3? Oh golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry, I was thinking to myself. Really, to catch him off guard there. You always catch this guy off guard. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? Well, yes. I just got a little riled about it recently, you see. Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said, so I let him in. And do you know what he did? I'm afraid I have no idea. Please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall, and then grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. Oh, please, everyone knows, but it was nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network. Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously there's gas in the pipes, and it's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing the air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. If you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment. Oh!
I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe the lights of an adjacent property that has no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes.
Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. The reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you? Can't you?
We blew hard then. Wait, you mean?
That's right, the lights didn't just flicker. They went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into my house.
What a disaster.
The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, the flames went out. I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. By disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, this is almost certainly the clue we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh, well, if you like, I don't mind. Well, I do. Like I said, madam, it's widely known already.
Very well. Yeah.
Yes, my lord. I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. Alright, who am I pitting against?
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious. To whose statements do you refer, counsel?
Juror number 6, did you hear what juror number 3 just said? You can't hear anything.
Yeah, what? Yes, of course. I heard him mumbling something earlier.
There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in fact, in a manner of speaking, pass the victim's lips on the night in question.
What? What explanation?
I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene? See if there were any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time, but the mouth of a gas pipe. Scotland Yard have enough to do without exploring such irrelevance. What a piece of work, is a man? Shut up!
What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspear?
What speakest thou? Prithee, is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir.
I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body.
Good lord. Are they tasty then, gas pipes?
Is that what he's saying? Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas?
Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him. For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
2. This is no summation examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friend's conjecture. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have had to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. My god. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say.
Objection!
It's true, I have no proof that Mr. Shamspear put his lips on the pipe. However, I can say this with some certainty, that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamspear has been doing something in front of the lamp on his wall. And I have evidence to prove it.
Alright, you've got our attention. You've got our attention, I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself.
So would I. Let's see this evidence then. Well, I've got the jury's ear. I need to make this opportunity count. Leonardo DiCaprio says make it count.
Take that!
What? What the? These are, wait, what are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene.
Skin Prints Council? I've never heard of such things. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however.
My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It reveals all of the places that Mr. Shamspear touched in his room. I've never seen anything like it. That's black magic, isn't it? Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure. I agree. This month, engineering thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many of the places that you would expect, on the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shamspear also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in this room. For example, here, around the hanging picture, there indeed multiple handprints appear to be visible. Well, I wonder, could he have been appreciating the artwork perhaps? First, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and would you find yourself directly in front of... Ah! I don't believe it! The gas lamp! Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamspear has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp.
Right, what have you been up to, you nut?
I'd ask the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement. Me? What did I say? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker, and now you'll recall juror number 3's statement. What? Me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights and gas stove to go out, and gas to start leaking into the rooms. Obviously, the incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is, Mr. Shamspear were to have blown hard into the gas pipe in this room. He could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will.
Crikey. Are you suggesting that the man purposely caused the gas to...
Objection!
Was this number 5, dude?
Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination, I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law. What is the meaning of this, Lord Van Zix? This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints. Clearly that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case.
But it's an exciting new forensic technique developed by a great detective.
It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Ugh. Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence.
Please, my lord, if I may. Miss Suzata, it was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene, as a tool by which to explain the possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. You're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3. Oh yes, I too declare that the great detective's investigation results sound absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what that shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints. Not quite there yet, but...
What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy.
Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break the promise.
No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair to give evidence.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Mrs. Zato, but I couldn't have done it without you. Yeah, that's true. It's all circumstantial, really. And there's nothing even proving anything anymore. Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success. Why, Mr. Shamspirit? Why, Mr. Shamspirit? You seem to be losing your composure. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it.
Very well, continue, counsel.
Hold it!
I don't think so. Oh, wait, we did this already. I concur, though if my learned friend wishes to become an expert in gas, I believe the subject will suit him well. To your new career in nothingness. Thank you so much.
Hold it!
How is this related? You mean it's poisoned?
That's right, it's happened a tidy few times now.
It's most troubling indeed.
Days like this one when I don't get any wages, I get into tea time, see? I see her doing it, my wife. She gets that devilish look on her face and she slips some white powder into my
Sugar. And you drink it anyway?
I was brought up properly, see? If someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it.
What happened to you? What did it taste like?
It was god-awful, believe you me. Salty as oh.
And I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt.
Oh, so she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable.
Let's move on.
Hold it!
Miss you again. All the evidence, you say?
Your so-called skin prints.
An exciting... Okay, yes. The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And Mr. Shamspirit indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question. It can't be denied that there's a possibility that that's where the poison was.
Oh yes, I won't deny this playing on my mind.
But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides, yes, even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? Oh, can't make a case better than that. I'm afraid I can't change my stance. You do make a very valid point, sir. What? That's true. Perhaps a little haste. Oh my god. No, wait. Look, you got your chance here. I haven't used time to prove your theory. Just leave nationality out of this, please. Mr. Naruhodo, can't... Okay. I wonder if I have... Need to look at the court record. Oh wait, Suzaki says it goes out every night. In truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it.
What's that? Testimony?
This is incredible. Whose testimony? It's linked. Is it him?
Take that!
Music stopped. Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant. Mr. Sozeki Natsume himself.
The defendant?
At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following.
My lodgings. There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on the fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shamspear's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me.
On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not?
Good golly.
So that Shamspear fella blew air into the gas pipe to make the fan stove go out on purpose.
Hold your horses there.
Why would he do that for? Mr. Foreman,
What is it, man?
we cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree there is more to this case than meets the eye like a transformer which hasn't been invented yet.
Ugh.
Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, a man of logic first and foremost. Honestly proud of myself for getting that right. That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue.
As the defense has rightfully indicated, the summation examination is concluded with a majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now call guilty, 4 call not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted, and in accordance with the law of this land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial.
Yeah, we saw that coming.
Mr. William Shamspear.
My lord, how can I humble Shamspear serve thee?
What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination?
So God mend me, I do solemnly swear, I would call aught to be the lamp or the pipe.
But your handprints have made a tidy mess all over the wall there. How'd you explain that, eh?
I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already.
Juror number 5.
Who, me?
As I went to some pains to point out already, print from the self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains at this time unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
Objection!
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding that lamp in Mr. Shamspear's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison. What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required. Yes. Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. I didn't think of that.
In any case, counsel, I failed to see what you possibly could have motivated the man.
What possibly could have motivated the man to do as you described?
Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air into the gas pipe work where he lived?
There's only one possibility I can think of, and that is he used the leaking gas to commit murder.
Order, order. Counsel. Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end?
The answer couldn't be simpler, now that we've unraveled the mystery this far. So Zeki Natsume again?
Take that!
If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing.
I live around those parts myself, so I know what it's like. Not guilty. I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove, that's pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time.
Mr. Garrett, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence, on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't a landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamspeare was trying to end.
Outrageous.
I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder.
Gracious.
Objection!
The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged, namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question that then arises is who put it there? Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill.
Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, or he or she had known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison.
Now we must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shamspeare's murderous designs? You mean to suggest? Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could have possibly known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Whatever Mr. William Shamspeare may or may not have been contrived to do. Oh, well. I hope the rest of work went well, Rosie. What you making tonight? He was nevertheless a victim of a potentially lethal poison attack, and the only person who could have possibly perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established. Chicken curry noodles, oh, that sounds good. That suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? Ah! Damn. Get got, dude. Sorry. Sazi. How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings against us again. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room. We must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean, name the true culprit? I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all. As it happens, one possible culprit does come out. It does? No, it doesn't. The evidence, the poison. Oh, wait a minute. No way. Particular person now. The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. What? Oh, don't you worry. We know who it was. You don't need to do the stupid reaction shot. Oh my god. There's one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime.
The true culprit.
A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend.
But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax.
If you want one that's not disappointing, come to Baker Street. Thank you. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true... What? No. I don't fucking know. Olive Green had the poison. It could have been her. Otherwise, I don't understand who else it would have been. Because she was there. The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspeare is, I believe, Miss Olive Green.
Miss Olive Green, Miss Olive Green.
I do feel as though I've heard
that name in the recent past, Council, but I don't quite aware.
Miss Olive Green, the woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of the stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add.
Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago.
And I hardly need remind, quote, that Mr. Shamspeare's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True, on the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital unconscious. On the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison.
Good gracious, she had poison?
And there's another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court.
Tell me, Mr. Shamspeare.
Ah, my lord, pray, what be thy bidding?
You acquainted with Miss Green?
Eh? No, never heard of her.
Judging by the look on Mr. Shamspeare's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her, at least not by name. As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friend's farce through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here. Yes.
Yes, Miss Olive Green.
Indeed, my lord, 1 hour should be sufficient.
Very well, I grant the request.
Excellent, I hope.
The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested.
What argument?
Accordingly, I'm afraid this defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned.
What argument? Oh boy, here we go. Let's do it. I'm gonna get a save point or something? Probably. Trial part 3? No, still trial part 2, look at that. 23rd February at 11:32. What? It's only been that, it hasn't been that long.
Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks.
Oh, Mr. Natsume, I'm so pleased for you.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire and non-locum judicial assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquires. Now finally, at long last, there can be proof that I'm innocent and proof that my tea is innocent.
Ah, good morning, my dear fellows.
Ah, Hairlock Shoals. May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent.
I thought the tea was innocent, I was gonna say. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful.
Oh, look, please save your derision. I know what you're all thinking.
Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon.
Your scorn is written clearly across your faces.
Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. A bitch do be crying from cutting onions. Oh no, yeah, onions be tough. You gotta make sure you don't cut the root. If you don't cut the root of the onion, you won't cry. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought. Tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty all of its own, doesn't it not? Does it not? But you overslept anyway? Yeah, you're me. Oh yes, and then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep, I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? Because I'm tired, Sholmes. And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not an astute insight into the matter? Sholmes, what is up? What are you trying to say? Oh, yes. On which realization I accepted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink all night. And the results? My first light, I was exhausted and began to be assailed by fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so, the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yes, I think most of us probably know that already. What others presuppose I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is a scientific method. Ah, yes, and one more thing. Do you all remember this? Ah! Yes, of course, it's the poison that Miss Serene was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to... It was a laborious task, as the bottle was near empty, but such inconveniences did not hinder Sholmes. I managed to confirm that it contained strychnine. Oh, so I was right. Perhaps, though, of course, circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now, but licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. Could I have a word? Could I have a word? Gregson, how good of you to come. Oh, yeah. I mean, Sholmes does know how Gregson blows, so... Maybe he knows both parts. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector. I don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. Look on your face that says someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely, pretend I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shamspeare's room? Not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. The dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shamspeare's room? And by the name of... yes, Selwyn. I went through the archives at the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that, well, it caught my eye. Something caught your eye? Wait, what, Inspector? What? I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves. Eh? Oh boy. What does it say? What does it say? I need to know. I don't have time for this. 18 counts of Berkeley, 6 counts of suspected murder, died in of natural causes, Folsom Prison. Final moments witnessed only by a cellmate. We know this. Include the details that were in the newspaper during the time we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court record so we don't have duplicate information. Are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion. Oh, Gregson, you fantastic son of a bitch. Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows, and the inspector here is a shining diamond in its crown. Shining diamond in the rough, maybe. Look, I don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all. What, it's been an hour already? Oh, what? No way. Well, I shall... What? You're listening with interest from the public gallery, not nodding off at all, certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears personally, so... The best of luck to you.
Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire.
Me neither, dude. Honestly, I hate that. I hate Holden Caulfield. Yes, Mr. Passman?
It's time, isn't it?
Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green, Mr. Olive Green, and Mr. William Shamsphere. It's gonna be the final battle. I won't really have saved Suzuki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. It's all coming to a head now. You could do it, Rinosuke. You have to. $12:30. How was that an hour?
Name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense, namely that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord.
However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Thank you for that backhanded consideration. A rather cold assessment from the honourable British prosecutor, I must say.
So, Lord Van Zieks, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand?
Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord.
Very well, bailiff. Bring the witnesses in.
I really don't want Olive Green to be guilty. Actually, you know what? Even if she did try to kill Mr. Shamspeare, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't want her to go to jail, but like... Unless something changes, but as of right now, I hope that... I want this to end happily for her, but I don't see a way that it will. Witnesses, state your name and occupations for the court, please.
William Shamspere, my liege, for mine occupation I could say only... You could say only nothing. Then I'd be a tragic victim to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words.
Molly Green, I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose.
Also currently unemployed, in other words.
What a coterie.
Oh man, Danzig. Cutting through the bullshit.
Mr. Shamspere,
My lord, I am thy humble servant.
afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. Possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you.
I will move for naught else, my lord.
And Miss Green,
Yes.
you are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume?
Yes, the officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon.
And do you accept the charge, Miss Green?
I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man.
Come, lady, die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly pea-pigmented personage.
Very well, let's proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair.
Oh, very strange. Strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. On the night this man was poisoned, I was still in the hospital fighting for my life.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Garadeb household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days.
I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife, through no fault of my own. Now I'm under suspicion? What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing.
Your energies may be very better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green.
At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shanspere's lodgings is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why. We would like you to testify formally about exactly what happened.
Oh no! The incident 6 days ago? You mean you want me to relive that awful incident?
Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we'll be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shamspere.
Yeah? But what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned.
Let us proceed, and the witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court. On the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road on the evening of the 17th of February.
My mom's birthday.
"6 days ago, at about 5 p.m., I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in this case have their lodgings. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakst, for I bespoke my supper. For the first time I'd been in the area, I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all of this business."
Yes, a second incident inside a week that I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume this is the most unfortunate coincidence.
Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamspere?
It was the following morn when I did awaken that I learned of the dire events. Marry, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine.
When Sasaki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. As suspected, there is nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance. But I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here, I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it. Yeah, you take it off.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish.
Yes, my lord. Here we go.
It was 6 days ago at about 5 p.m.
Oh wait, I did this wrong. I don't need it.
Hold it!
I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that. It was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. I woke up to find that the case had been solved and the culprit arrested.
Yes, the incident has been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening, and should now be forgotten.
Yes, I suppose so. Thank you.
But before you put it completely behind you on the screen, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly about what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case.
The trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement. Quentin, no.
Hold it!
What were you doing there that day, though? What do you mean?
The art school you attend, what's it called?
Ah, yes, it's the Thorndyke Academy of Fine Art.
God, fuck. Rosie, do you remember that one day when I mispronounced Nelson Thorndyke as Nelson Thorndyke, and you made fun of me? If you're here, I don't know if you're still here. That happened, and I still think about it. That's all I think about when I hear Thorndyke now. According to Mr. Sholmes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road,
Which is some 10 stops away from the scene of the underground.
I believe you mentioned that you also live on the Brixton Road. Isn't that right? So why then would you have been walking along by a road in the middle of the East End?
Well, it's because, oh yes, of course, I thought it might make a nice picture.
The witness is a student of art. City-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas.
That's right, I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town.
Don't cuss move brain. That was a long time ago. It was like 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Quaint would have been a less grating term.
The point is,
She's definitely hiding something. Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth. She's trying to hide why she was there that evening. It must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this. And you, Mr. Shamspeare, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court exactly what you were doing?
it would be my pleasure, sir.
Oh my god, just stop. Enough. I don't want to hear more about you. A tavern, you say? Which one?
It was the Slug and Salad where I did tarry.
The jewel in the East End.
And a little unexpected, I feel. What do you mean, Lord Menzies? Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. It's true, the menu lists premium custard bread and glasses of water in different levels of cloudiness. I would expect a Grub's Grubber in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your meals. Watery soup and mushy peas, or rather, soupy water and pea-like mush. All equally appetizing.
I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that?
How different can water really be? Listen, you haven't had Dasani before, have you, bitch? That shit is not normal water. Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation? A specific... Yeah, I know that the Slug and Salad was listed in the... I keep clicking through the fucking game. We don't have that note, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to come back to that. Yes, let's go back to Miss Green. I mean, British restaurants all have weird names like that, because the British are not very creative. So, like, the Slug and Salad, it doesn't really have much to say about the establishment. You don't know. What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate.
There's nothing really, it's not worth mentioning.
If you remember, you mentioned it to us today at the hospital. Ah, it was related to the card you were holding.
Miss Green.
What was that? From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. What does...
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Mr. Shamspear, do you have something to share with the court?
To be or not to be? That is the question. Ah, pray forgive me. The great Bard's word springs from within me with ne'er thought.
Don't tell me it's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing McScreen's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps?
Eh? Well, nay, sire, 'twas nothing at all.
Presumably you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean? After all, you were both lodgers in the same house.
I would it were so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me.
So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours? McScreen.
Me, my lord, have I done something wrong?
The card that was mentioned before. Don't either know. Do you have it on your person?
I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really.
Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please. Perfect. Duncan Ross.
Hold it!
I love the descending fucking dings there. It's so funny, like how the ascending dings got introduced in Trials and Tribulations, how they have the... Mr. Shamspear.
Yes, sire.
On the day in question, it's not the case that you is it not the case that you visited the Slugget Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason?
I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakst.
Very well, I will present the court with this evidence. Yeah.
Take that!
Did I present the wrong thing? Oh, I have to update the stupid thing. Oh my god. Okay, cool. Yep, I knew it. Yeah, the game expects you to do that a lot. Well, the only thing that even remotely connects this to Duncan Ross is this stupid letter, so let's try this again.
Hold it!
I thought we would have to do it after I presented it. That's why I kind of just went for it. You think Britain in 1900 had food stamps? I don't know what the dude was
Take
eating.
that!
What? Oh, okay. I believe this card reveals the answer. Good lord, Miss Green's card, you mean? That's right, my lord. It reads... I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It's a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamspear, your actions on the day of Miss Green's stabbing, on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing, are exactly as described in this note. Ah! Personally, I find it hard to believe it's just a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamspear?
Well...
Excuse me, can I say something?
Yes, Miss Green?
That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it?
Well, you'd think so, yes, but it's hard to believe he's military. My lord, may I?
May you what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Very well, then you may amend your testimony to include death.
Okay. There is no need to make me go through all this frickin' hullabaloo.
Objection!
When I could have just presented it in one fell swoop before updating the thing and made the connection myself. The game did not need to make that connection for me. I do not feel like that was necessary. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address, and upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in hospital. Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me. Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is. What do you mean? Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn-off end of an envelope. Oh, is it? And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received. Oh, where did you find that? In Mr. Shamspeare's room? Eh? In my room? Mr. Shamspeare, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well... Your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad and Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Oh! Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamspeare. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green. Ah, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? As this torn-off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally Mr. Shamspeare's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession? I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist, that's all. There's only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamspeare's room and stole it. Oh, is that what we're going with? You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? You broke, I mean, thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me?
It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again. Miss Green.
Yes?
Whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events. Anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind.
Yes, I know.
Very well then, witnesses, you will give formal testimony again now. The subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received.
I don't know, Bluecoin. I don't know what's going on anymore. Yeah, I love how he slipped out of the Shakespearean there for a second. Yeah, okay. Now here we go. Jam. I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago, peradventure, that the note was delivered unto me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Therefore, thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here. As for that torn-off piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it. Well, how did it get there? Honey. You now claim to have received this letter.
You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamspeare?
Yeah, that's absolutely ruining your easel, and I'm not okay with it either. Faith, 'tis so, my lord. I would swear to have set it upon the table at my humble lodgings. Yet, it is clear to me now that since returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes on it.
That being the case, the young lady, it would appear that testimony was...
Lie? Is that what you think? Unfair of you to think I'm the one lying.
I beg your pardon?
I'm just a fledgling artist, I said, and fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to me at my address. Besides, we all know who the liar around here is.
That's true, Miss Green. How do you explain the facts?
This particular... I don't see why I should explain. Sorry. I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is to say what happened, that's all. It's your job to take the explanations and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer.
The fledgling will do his best. Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth. Your counsel?
I'm ready, my lord. I'm ready. I want those boots.
Very well, then the defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shakespeare's room. There can be no question of that. And that's how she acquired the note. Yes, two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation. Me, not me. And it's not a pretty one.
Hold it!
Paper Star, you have had enough of these people, and I'm here for it. And can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all? Nay, sire. 'Tis strange to me the foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own, verily 'tis impenetrable. Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. In fact, he was your neighbor, so surely you knew him, didn't you? Alack, if the choice is betwixt I knew him and I knew him not, then 'twas with foreboding that I be forced to declare that we were by some small measure acquainted. Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the Slug and Salad. Presumably that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature? Marry, naught will have the better of me, sir, save for the lure of curiosity. Though 'tis true I was compelled by mine eager heart to betake myself to the tavern, yet in the end my curiosity was not satiated. I love this song. But nobody came. Even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared? Well, yes, sire, 'tis as thou sayest. Really? You paused for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked when nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall.
Really? You mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all?
I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord. No, 'tis returned to me now. I did treat my lipstone as clear water, and my fine innards to a premium crust of bread, and all around me danced a many great companions. What do you mean? Flies? Oh my god.
Good lord.
In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from a Midsummer Night's Dream come to taunt me? I think they were just flies. I can't help but thinking the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me? No. Roast him.
Hold it!
When exactly did you notice it had gone missing? Such idle thoughts now occupy my mind. I am busy with greater ideas. In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room.
Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval.
Such idle. Oh my.
And yet, during that time, Miss Green was comatose in the hospital, was she not? Clearly, then, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shakespeare's room.
Yes. Yes, of course. It's all some sort of misunderstanding, isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir?
You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came by the note.
See, this is why besides how hot he is, he don't take no shit from liars.
I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You would do well to remember that.
You dearie me.
What's Lord Van Zeke's getting at?
Hold it!
Seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shakespeare about 1 week ago. Oh, does it? But for some reason it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that could have happened except for you breaking into Mr. Shakespeare's lodgings.
But for what reason would the witness have done that?
I
won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in the case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless.
Miss Green could have only come into be in possession of the note by stealing it from Mr. Shakespeare's room. Why'd she? And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing. What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings? Yes! Oh my god. No way.
Objection!
No, okay, it wasn't that. This still hasn't even come into play yet. This is the poison strychnine. As long as they'll lose. Oh my god. No, even if we lose the trial. No, we mustn't lose the trial in the first place, Mr. Naruto. Make up your mind, Susato-san. That's it. Isn't that Duncan Ross?
Objection!
Nope.
Hold it!
So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it? I'm flattering. What is a nearly always introverted character?
Introverted? Fie! This fledgling doth readily cast aspersion about my nature. Yet I am an angel, a seraph, birds do harmonize with my song, the winds doth frolic on my wing. No pity, wherefore dost thou accuse one so pure of heart, ample one?
Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure.
Tragedy, thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist until thine instruction hereafter by death. Oh, the days, oh, the years, alas, to enlighten thee, thou must wait so long and in vain.
Naruto, inject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine. I'm no Shakespearean actor, Mr. Susato. No, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument is evidence. I'm afraid to say... I don't... Let me see. Let me think about this. Huh. God. Oh, oh wait. Is it to get... Oh, it's to get the vial of poison, huh? How about that? It's amazing how you can just, like, think of it. Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle, and although the contents spilt during the course of your meeting, a small quantity remained. Ah! According to the defendant's independent analysis, Mr. Sholmes' chemistry said, the liquid that was still in this bottle was identified as strychnine. What? Strychnine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspear. Ah? Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings for one reason and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shamspear's room with poison. I know, it's amazing how you can just think.
Can this be?
You broke into my room too.
It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there is only one logical conclusion that we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shamspeare's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Order, order! Counselor, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill?
I know, we never got to see it. Yes, my lord, there's no other way to explain the facts. But if Miss Green did indeed set this odious trap 6 days ago...
6 days ago, and the victim that put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected. The attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely.
Well, it's a very good point.
Perhaps not, my lord.
I beg your pardon? There was a significant police presence in the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would have likely chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord Van Zieks, he's helping me! And of course, the following morning there was more activity at Mr. Shamspeare's address. God, I love it when the LGBT community, aka Ryu and Lord Van Zieks, just work together and do amazing things. You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder? That's right, and as the defense has already proposed, Mr. Shamspeare was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself, to cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant. But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Shamspeare had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe.
His intended victim being in a prison cell.
With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison on the pipe lay dormant. And then, 3 days ago now, the situation changed again. Right, Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end.
The trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted.
That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove seriously went out and Mr. Shamspeare was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room some 4 days earlier.
Mary!
With that new understanding, it becomes clear that this letter was all part of the plan.
What plan?
The court will recall the note gave instructions to visit the Slug and Salad at 5 o'clock, and that recipient tells nobody else. The reasons for those instructions are now clear. God, if I could make that into a raid message, I absolutely would. I absolutely fucking would make that into a raid. Like, I can't. Unless we just forego the hashtag. Save that for me, Paperstar. I'll think about it. To ensure that the lodger would not be at home at the stated time. To make sure I wasn't home? Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed.
You mean to say that letter
was written by Miss Green, yes, and in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. Just after she smeared poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room. Olive, honey, why would you do that?
Order, order. What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me?
Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial.
So, that's what's behind all this.
Take that!
Duncan Ross.
That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume, took up residence in the lodgings at Mr. Garadev's, somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross.
I knew I'd heard the name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago.
when a man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings.
Does ring a vague. Ah, of course, yes, I remember now. The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such.
Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamspeare blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple.
Ah! Ah! Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths. That's all people care about. It's an interesting story. They want to know. It doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story's lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him.
You mean Duncan was? Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé.
Fiancé?
You may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shamspeare. But she's known exactly who you are all along, because you're her sworn enemy, the murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry.
Marry?
Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shamspeare, you smeared poison over the end of the gas pipe?
This is all quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel, each on different counts of murder?
I love this song, Rosie, so much. The game has... I'm this close to saying that this game has my favorite OST in the whole series. Yes, my lord, that's correct.
Objection!
Inhaling so deeply, it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas, causing his judgment to be clouded. Come on, Lord Van Zeeks. You're the L in LGBT. What do you mean? You're on my side right now.
Why would Mr. Shamspeare have wanted to kill those lodgers, as you said?
You have completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusation against the man.
Yes, that's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege. I have been slighted. His lies are vile lies. I deny every utterance.
And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Naruhodo, sir. But I don't intend to admit anything either. Scream. I'm sure you'll think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel. But you broke into the man's room. If you didn't do it to smear poison on it, what was your reason? I thought I'd have a look around, that's all. Sorry? You're right, I suspected him. I thought perhaps I might find some evidence of something in his room. Evidence it was him who took Duncan's life.
Oh, vileness, oh villainy, oh tyranny, oh rotundity.
Can we stop making fun of her body, please? She looks fine. Like, maybe she's a killer, I don't know. She probably is, but we're not making fun of her appearance. But in any case, when I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock. That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the doors are no different. Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some turps and a piece of wire. Turps and a piece of wire. Oh, awfulness, oh, artfulness, oh, tyranny, oh, profanity, woman. We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion, but for now, tell the court what you found, what evidence your search revealed. What are the other two, out of curiosity, Rosie? Well, I spotted the note that had sent him lying on the floor. When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose, and underneath it I discovered a secret hiding place. Eh? Yes, we also discovered the hiding place. Inside we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Oh yes, well the thing is, when I found it, the box wasn't empty. What? There was something in it? Yes. This rather nice key.
Ah! What are you doing with that?
What the? Every ounce of color has drained from it. It wasn't there to begin with, honey.
Give it here. Give it to me now. It's mine. I inherited it.
What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited it. You're Selden's son, aren't you? I know, and he didn't notice. What's this all about? He inherited that key? It was obviously important to you. You gone to such lengths to hide it, so I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means you can't open something now? I don't care. Get back this minute. Give it to me.
Calm yourself, witness.
So Mr. Shamsbury has tried, and in one case succeeded, to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. It's true that there appears to be no motive to support the accusation against Mr. Shamsbury at first. But considering everything we now know, I think there's actually something that could explain it.
What?
I need to... Yeah.
In that case, counsel, I must demand that you present evidence in support of your claim.
Take that!
That's an official police report, is it not?
The Selden file?
How did you get hold of that?
Selden? The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant Mr. Natsume have one thing linking them. The fact that they had lodgings in the same room. Well,
Yes, we know this, certainly.
a room that was formerly occupied by Selden, until, that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries.
I see.
And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died. Then the some 1,000 pounds worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found.
Ah, yes, of course, it's coming back to me now. It's written in this file here.
1,000 pounds lost en route to hell. That was how the paper summed it up. And it seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. It's not imagined. Oh my god, no, he's not. They're not related. He's an ex-con? Shakespeare? It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret, the location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key to unlock whatever container the valuables were in. Oh, you mean this key is... Mr. Shamsbury, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not? What are you talking about? It's a false charge, I tell you. Oh, that's right. He is an ex-con. Oh, that completely escaped my mind. It's a false charge, I tell you, a false charge. The name of the inmate who was with Selden at his death isn't noted in this file. Shakespeare. But a simple telegram to the prison where he died would typically tell us how false this charge really is.
But even if it's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings?
There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot. So, it all comes out. Yes, and having established that, all of Mr. Shamsbury's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense. Oh my god. When he was let out of prison for following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Garrideb's lodgings in hope of renting the Selden's old room. That's why he wanted the room on the bottom floor. He wanted it so badly. However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice, because Selden's old room had already been let to somebody else, Mr. Duncan Ross. Which is why Mr. Shamsbury subsequently devised this gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room. However, a certain jittery someone had beaten him to it. Mr. Soseki
Natsume, the defendant of this case, no less.
So you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Shamsbury? This time to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason. To get your hands on the 1,000 pounds of loot left behind by the dead convict. Oh, you... He's gonna get back up and transform or something, huh? Looks like I'm gonna snuff it before they get to stretch me in the neck. Listen, I want you to have me. Oh, listen, I want you to have me loot anything. It's in the room where I was lodging when they got me. This is the key to it. Take it.
Always stay one step ahead, mate. See you in hell, I guess. Shamspeare.
He's gonna get up and try to. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Oh, he's drunk. Mr. Shamspeare? That's unsettling.
It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove that I killed that fellow. Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do. You can't arrest me. For the time being, anyway. Barely. You can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close. I just need a few more hours. I'm on tonight, and my hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel that's right. La. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it, and I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I'd just give up?
There's no question in my mind now. This man is guilty through and through. But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. I'm afraid that however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a way. Pardon? There's what way I can finish him. No! He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot. Which means all we need to do is find it first. A fine plan, were it not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. If it's there at all, it must be very well hidden indeed. Shamspeare gonna be on SNL tonight? It's not even Saturday, Rosie. What do you mean tonight? Also, I don't... Yeah, there's no SNL this weekend, actually. Next Saturday, though, it's going to be Kieran Culkin and someone else as a musical guest.
Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot.
Do you remember who the musical guest is? It's Kieran Culkin as the host, but who's the musical guest?
Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule.
If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly. Oh, it's Ed Sheeran. Oh, but it might not be because of COVID. We'll see what happens. This is the final piece in this complex puzzle. I think we might have it in our possession already. Or rather, I think we might well have something that can help us find where the loot is hidden. My lord.
Yes, counsel?
The defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we are already in possession of something that could give us a clue as to its whereabouts. It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we've used the same technique once already, and it definitely paid off then. What the hell? Bro, is this supposed to be like obvious? Because it's not.
What the hell? I don't understand.
Wait a minute. Oh, it's Shamspeare. It's Sholmes's thing. That's what I'm supposed to be presenting. Okay.
Take that!
I wasn't sure how to present that because I forgot we had a picture for that.
I'm not mistaken. Those are Mr. Shamspeare's handprints on the wall of his lodgings.
That's right, my lord. Exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene. Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective Mr. Sholmes.
Great detective? Is this some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm going to be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspeare. Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. Ah, 'tis Sherlock Sholmes himself.
What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts are the filthy back streets of the capital, are they not? Ah, Mr. Reaper, it's been too long, and I see your complexion has worsened since we last met. Mr. Sholmes? He does know Lord Van Zieks then. Well enough to say something like that in any case. What is the story there? Are you trying to encroach on my man, Mr. Sholmes? Because there are two things that can happen. You can either back off or we can have a threesome. Either is fine.
Mr. Sholmes, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit.
If I may, my lord, Mr. Sholmes' newly discovered scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already. Oh my god, they were roommates. I call them skin prints, my lord. My method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny. It's the method by which we were able to ascertain this gentleman's gas pipe activities. Ah! You need only a small sample of something the individual has previously touched in order to make an indicator solution. In your case, sir, I use the teacup you've been holding, elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time? Thank you for offering to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Ms. Sozeki-san's room. Do we have any people on the court record? Probably her. We need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution, find his loot. Looking at convict opens happen to be in the possession of somebody listed in the court record. Okay. On my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind?
Take that!
Oh my god. No way. Miss Green. Me? What do you want with me? The key around your neck, if you please. Sorry? That key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on its surface that we can use. Very true. That is the sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholmes' skin print detector, and find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. Great pursuit! Ba-da-da-da-da-da, Mr. Shamspeare, as one grade to another, I assure you. If the late convict's hall is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall have uncovered it in no more than 30 minutes. Ugh. So, Mr. Shamspeare, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's soul and wealth. Ugh. Ugh. In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key.
No, give it the key to me. The detective shan't have it.
It's over, Mr. Shamspeare.
No, no.
You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt.
Whoa. Oh, Shamfelspear, despair.
Oh, he dabbed.
By thy name.
What a fun little breakdown with the confetti. Easy with the confetti. I can't believe he ended up being that killer. But like, not the killer, not the attempted murder. Oh wow, you look a little different without your little hat there.
I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room, that's all.
So you'd have the time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods. Yet, after you'd killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room.
I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused.
Why?
I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing.
Mr. Garrett really has had a lot to put up with.
And he had gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then this Japanese man swooped in right just at the right moment to send the new lease.
Poor Mr. Natsume, what unfortunate you did call it.
I thought, well, I mean, he's not technically.
I said that he wasn't the killer. He wasn't the attempted murderer, but you did say he was the killer, and there was one killer in this case, and this is him, so.
Then 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance, but it wasn't to be.
No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by the police night and day. And if I remember rightly, Mr. Sholmes spent the whole day in there reading books. Couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. I know. This is fantastic, actually. Which is why, on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again tried your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in this room. Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. William Shakespeare. How does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question. From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. Well, let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done. What about what she did? Are we just not gonna... Okay, here you are. At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died. The gas supply in my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know, Olive. The gas supply? Yes, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if it's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There's spare rooms in my house, why don't you leave that horrible room tonight? No, I'd better not. We said we'd wait until we'd graduated before we told our parents, remember? My God. That was the last time we ever spoke. That very night, he fell victim to the gas. If only I'd known it was going to happen, I've insisted he left that horrible room that instant. Instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped, Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up to Grub's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him and sat myself down next to him, had some watery-looking soup, and started to pick a quarrel with the publican.
That place is cursed, I tell you. Cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me.
These are so good. Oh my God, this game.
I wake up in the middle of the night, freezing to death. The stove has gone out. The room is full of gas and I can hardly breathe. The pipes have been checked, no problem there. It's like I'm the problem. That's what they're thinking.
But how could that be? Duncan was gone. Now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? This poor woman has honestly been through so much. Then I remembered.
Rumor I'd heard about how gas companies go around investigating gas installations.
A rumor?
You mean?
Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes. Oh, anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework. That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I'd had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End. Black market? I'd never been. I just heard people talk about them, and you really can buy anything you can think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident? It might. And your chosen method of establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Mere poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with, and wait. If Mr. Shakespeare was innocent, nothing would come of what you'd done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly. I found out the name of the man I suspected, William Shakespeare, when I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anything else about this letter, and anyone else about this letter or the meeting. It's a matter of utmost importance. If he'd done it, I knew that that would worry him enough, so he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it worked.
And of course, Mr. Shamspeare followed the instructions to the letter.
I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away, so I smeared a good amount of poison I'd bought all around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and it was just some wild fantasy. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done, and the culprit would get his just desserts. I can't... Okay, so, like, I can't... I really did get annoyed by Shamspeare, but, like... And she did a very bad thing, but, like, I feel so bad for her.
"3 days ago, when you first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward.
Yes, my lord.
I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes.
It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes. And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you.
Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green,
Yes, my lord.
you will henceforth be stripped of your freedom as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shamspeare.
Yes, I know.
And you, Mr. Shamspeare, you will be tried for the murder of Mr. Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present.
Oh. Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, yes? Yesterday, at the hospital, when you and your friend stopped me from ending your life by drinking what was left in the poison bottle. I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. A question that's so hard to answer, it seems. Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green. Oh! And I'd like to believe that it's a blessing Mr. Shamspeare didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. As for you, I chose life, not death. And now you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Oh, Miss Green.
Mr. Soseki Natsume,
Yes, my lord.
the court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen to prevent the verdict of not guilty.
We are in full agreement, my lord.
In that case, I hereby declare the defendant not guilty.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Court is adjourned.
Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber.
Oh, yes, yes, at last. Divine justice duly done.
Divine justice? My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that mustache.
No, this has nothing to do with my mustache. Jesus, Sholmes.
Some say that a luxuriant mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, once again, you've saved me from doom.
I'm very happy to have been able to help Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. You're second in almost as many days.
I was first acquainted with and gained affection for English literature whilst in our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruit of that literature. Only, The city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly old books.
You've had such a difficult time, haven't you? Ah, but a week ago now, I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not?
You did, and I've seen more of life in this week than in all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel I've begun to see the true face of the English that's so far been hiding from me behind that wall of fog.
My dear fellow, there is nothing special about the true face of the English as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are few genuine differences.
Yes, I think you're right. I've finally started to see that. And I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was so attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're all just doing our best to live.
Well said, I've come to feel the same way.
I've made a decision too. I'm going to cut short my study tour here and return to Japan.
What? Just when we'd become friends here in England, what a terrible shame.
Oh, I know. That does tug at my heartstrings, it really does. But I've decided to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own. A novel of sorts, I suppose.
Oh my, so you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume. How wonderful.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I wouldn't presume to call it literature.
Why not, when that is precisely the definition, Mr. Mustache?
I suppose you're right, yes, it will, in a way, be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur.
Well, no, he was just a student studying literature. I, for one, would love to read your work. Well, all things considered, it may be for the best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper. Ah, that's very true. And there is no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the prosecutor.
The desire to return post-haste to the perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand.
My goodness, yes, faced with such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly. I'm quite sure.
But that's not why I'm leaving, I mean it.
I love his theme. And that was the case we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. Soseki-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. It was on reading that report that Professor Mikotoba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Susato-san was given the news that she must return to Japan as well, on the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen greatly ill. The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial on the following day, the day that we uncovered the loot hidden by the now deceased convict in his former lodgings. Oh, thank God, they're going to show me now. 24th February, 10:13. Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. How simply marvelous of you. To uncover the secret hiding place in just one day. Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes? As I believe I told you, my dear fellows, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson? Gregsy's been happily munching in agreement this whole time, you know, Hurley. Happily? I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth. So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let's look then, if you're ready. Let us examine the late burglar's hall. What is that? What is that? It looks to be some sort of neckband collar. It's covered in blood. It's huge, though. And look at all the gemstones set in it. I can see why it was claimed to be worth £1,000. Perhaps I could have it as a belt. Oh, have you noticed on the inside there are some dark stains? You don't think it could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it. On second thoughts, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. Then of course there's this emblem here. A large letter B and a small crown. What does this signify, you think? Oh, I hadn't noticed that. feel as though I've seen that. I feel like I've seen it before too, but I don't. You know, where could it have been? That's enough of that, I think. What? What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes? All the color is drained from his face. Well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this, oughtn't you? It could be valuable evidence after all. After all, it must be kept safely under lock and key. Ah, yes. Get your grubby hands off that, you lot, and hand it over now. I'd never seen a collar that large before. All those jewels certainly look to be extremely valuable. But that's not what stood out the most to me, at least not once I'd noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of that collar. Those stains. Could they really have been blood? Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now. And you look very pleased, Iris. I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basis of this month's story in the magazine. This case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating. You're talking about the latest installment of The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, I presume. The mystery of the knife in the mist and the mustache man in the convict's curse, perhaps. I could make it a two-part story. Oh, I can't wait.
A word, please, Iris.
Yes, what is it, Harry?
I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question.
What? Why not? It's a great case.
Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your two titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear?
Yes. I want to know so,
And so
bad.
it was that the second of Souseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity. Now, looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story. It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen. For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again, with an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
Well, no. We have to. That is case 5 material. You can't do that now. Are you joking? No, I'm not. You're not allowed to do that. The Great Exhibition was supposed to be case 5. It would appear I've started dropping frames in the last little bit. Has it been a problem? You can't. This game can't do this to me. This game. No, not allowed. Not allowed. The return of the great departed soul. What's gonna happen? I'm so interested. God, I hate that I have to play this once a week. It's so annoying. I won't be able to get back to this until next Friday, probably. Shit. It seems to be fine now, but... Oh, no, don't do that, don't. Well... You're not gonna make it? What do you mean? What do you mean I'm not gonna make it? Oh, you mean I'm not gonna make it all the way till Friday? You may be right. Maybe. But I have a lot going on in life that makes me, you know, want to... That makes me need to wait. Shut up. It's gonna be right after the race. No. You're not gonna be right after the... What do you mean? I'm not doing it tomorrow. I have Monster Prom tomorrow with Diana and with Diana, Junie, and Sarah Bear. I don't have tomorrow to work on this. And that's at 9:30 my time. I'm not starting a case at 11. At 11:30, like, no, stop. You don't make me do this. Fuck. Ugh. You guys are awful. You know that. Yes, sir. Yes, Flargra, sir. Want to tell me what's going on? What's going on? Nah, the Superstar race happened already. Oh, okay. This you. I do remember that. This is the case where you said the DLC outfit. Okay. How do I put that on? If I go back here, yeah, return to the title screen. Special contents, probably. I want to see what's over here anyway, so whatever. Taylor, okay. Oh, cute. Iris' homemade dress. Oh my god, wow. That's something. Yes. Yes, that chest window, though. You see that? The boob window? Yes. Sure, we'll play with these for a case. He looks cute, actually, like that. This is not what I was expecting at all, though. Oh my god, there's so much music. And a lot of it's unused. Well, I want to hear some of this. Don't go to the third area? Okay. Gotcha, I didn't even notice it was split into 3 sections. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Alright, well, let's find somebody to raid. It's only 11:35 on a Friday, so there has to be somebody. Sorry, it's a Thursday, isn't it? There's gotta be somebody to raid. The absolute fucking nerve of this game, though. Let me just give my thoughts. This was fun. I didn't really understand where it was going at the beginning, but oh my god, it just a fantastic case. So interesting. I love the characters, honestly. I felt so bad for Olive Green. Just, oh my god. Y'all, and this ties up case 4 from the last game so well, it's almost unreal. I'm so impressed. Olive Green really did nothing wrong, you're right. I only rated Solid Plasma. I haven't rated Plasma in a while. I'm playing Pokemon Sword and Shield right now. Let me come up with a raid message, hold on. It's a long raid message, but it'll do. I've worked it out to be that. Thank you, Paper Star, for that. That's so hilarious. I can't. That is her raid message. This is so funny. I don't even care that it's not a hashtag. You know what? That's just gonna be it. Raid Solid Plasma. Okay, but before I do that, let me do my links. Okay, first of all, if you are not following me on Twitter and you want to, I don't understand why, but you can do that where I tweet about literally whatever I want and no one can stop me. If you pay me enough, maybe you can stop me, but I don't think it's likely. If you want to join my Discord, it exists. It's there. I announce when I'm going live there. But I also do that on Twitter, so it's up to you. Do what you want. I don't care. Would love to have you, but you don't have to join. No obligation. If you are looking for more people to follow, you can always check out the twitch.tv/team/SmileTime for the SmileTime charity Twitch team with a bunch of excellent streamers who are almost always, somebody's almost always live, and they're always fantastic to watch, and I cannot recommend all of my friends enough. So consider checking them out if you're not already. And that is it. Next stream will be tomorrow for Monster Prom on Junibug's channel, twitch.tv/Junibug. Let me do this one. If you're not familiar with Junibug, there she is. Oh, I guess her game is already set to Monster Prom for tomorrow. Yeah, so that's tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern time, which is 6:30 Pacific. So that'll be fun. It's my first time playing Monster Prom. That'll be fun. Halloween, we will be doing a horror and an actual scary game stream at my normal time. I don't know how long it'll take. We'll figure it out. So stick around. That'll be fun. I'm awful with horror games, so this is going to be fun. So that's it, actually. So let me post the raid message one more time, and we're going to raid Solid Plasma. Not Pasma, you dumbass. Not Plamza. Oh my god. Can I spell? That'd be great. I don't want to raid Solid Plamza. Anyway. Good night, everyone. I really appreciate you all coming out. You're always fantastic, and I love you dearly. And, yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to wait for an ad to play, huh? No ad? Cool. You'll raid Solid Plasma? No, you won't. We're gonna raid Solid Plasma. So I'll catch you all next time, y'all. Have a great rest of your night, and thank you so much for coming out. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Next Great is Eternity Stream will probably be on Friday, like I said, by the way. Bye. Mwah.